Right, you need to read the questions carefully with sequences. Are they asking you to write down what the next number is? Are they asking you to write down an nth term rule? Are they asking you just to write down what's happening in order to keep these sequences going? You can see with this first group of questions that they want in words the rule for continuing each of the following sequences. So what you need to do is to look at what is changing every time in the sequence. Start by looking, is it going up, is it being added to, is it being subtracted by the same number every time? This is going up. The difference first off is 7, and then you can see that that is the pattern that is occurring to keep this going. So in words, the rule for continuing is to add 7 to previous number. Take the previous number 15, add 7 to it, you get 22. Take 22, add 7 to it, you would get the next number, and so on. Now with the second one, it isn't a straightforward adding. You can see there that that first difference is 8, it's had 8 added to it, but if you add 8 to the second, you would get 20, whereas this is 36. So if adding doesn't work and it's getting bigger, the next thing you try is multiplying. Okay, what have I got to multiply 4 by to give me 12? The answer is 3. What happens if I multiply 12 by 3? I get 36. So I can see here that what's happening is that the previous term is being multiplied by 3. So in words, multiply previous number by 3. Second question, again, they're not interested in what the next number is, they're interested in you telling them how you get the next numbers. So look at adding first of all. The first one has gone up 7, the second one's gone up 7. In fact, this question is identical to the one above it, so I just put a line through it. Question 3. Describe in words the rule, again, in words, the rule for continuing each of the following. The first one has gone up 3, so has the next, so has the next. So the rule is to add 3 to previous number. Now here, the numbers are getting smaller. So is it to subtract? Well, 64 minus 32 gives me 32, but 32 minus 32 doesn't give me 16. So it's not a subtracting rule. So then you think, okay, it's going down, so it's either subtract or divide. What have I got to divide 64 by to get 32? The answer is divide by 2, halve it. 32, half of that is 16. Half of 16 is 8. So the rule is to divide previous term by 2. Or you could have written halve the previous term. Question 4. Again, it's going down, so the first thing to try is subtracting. I'm going to take 5 off 50 to get 45. If I take 5 off 45, I get 40, and so on. So it's subtract 5 from previous term. This sequence is increasing. I'm adding 4, but if I add 4 to the next, I don't get 18, I get 10. So it's not an add 4, so you try multiplying. 2 times what is 6? 2 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 3 is 54. So the rule in words, multiply previous term by 3. Okay, top of this question has been chopped off, but again, this is a describing in words question. So this one is decreasing, so the first thing I try is subtracting. What do I subtract there? I take 5 off. If I take 5 off there, I get 26. If I take 5 off 26, I get 21. So the rule is subtract 5 from previous term. Next one is going up. Is it add? Add 6 to that. Add 6 to 3, I get 9. If I add 6 to 9, I get 15, not 27. It's not an add, so the other way to increase is by multiplying. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. So I'm multiplying previous term by 3. Okay, question 6, read it carefully, write down the next 2 terms. So they're not interested in you writing down the rule in words, they just want you to find out what the rule is and then write down the next 2 terms. So what's happening here? Well, first of all, I've gone down from 17 to 16, which is a decrease of 1. Then I've gone from 16 to 13, which is a decrease of 3. Then I've gone from 13 to 8, which is a decrease of 5. So hopefully you can see there that I'm subtracting every time, and the number that I'm subtracting by is an odd number pattern, 1, 3, 5. So the next number I'm going to get by doing 8 take away 7, which is 1, and then I'm going to take away 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1 take away 9, which is minus 8. Question 7, again, write down the next 2 terms, work out what the rule is and then use it. First of all, it's going down, so it's a subtract by 3, then it's going down by 4, then it's going down by 5, so it's definitely going to be subtract 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be next, 8 take away 6 is 2, then I'm going to take away 7, 2 take away 7 is minus 5. So the next 2 terms will be 2 and negative 5. The next question is an nth term question. Now we've already done a different chunk of work on nth terms, but just to refresh our memory, in order to work out what the nth term is, first of all you're looking for the common difference. What is the difference that these numbers are changing by? And you can see that they're going up in 4s. That means it's a 4n rule. So that's the first thing you do every time. Look at the difference. If the difference is the same, whatever that difference is gives you the type of rule we've got. Now if the first term in the rule was 4, that would be a rule. But it isn't. And in order to get 4, we have to add 2. So that means that my rule is a 4n plus 2 rule. And that's the nth term of the sequence. If you're given the nth term and they want you to write the first 3 terms in the sequence, what you do is you put, first of all, n as 1 to get the first term. So the first term would be 1 squared add 3. Well, 1 squared is 1 plus 3 is 4. The second term would be 2 squared add 3. Well, 2 squared is 4, add 3 is 7. The third term would be 3 squared, add 3. 3 squared is 9, add 3 is 12, and so on. If you wanted to keep that going, the next one would be 4 squared plus 3, 5 squared plus 3, etc., etc. And then you work those out, so the first 3 terms are going to be 4, 7, and 12. And the final question is another nth term. So let's take a look what this one is going up in. It's going up in 7s. So it's a 7n rule. Is the first term 7? No, it's 8. What have I got to do to 7 to make 8? I've got to add 1. So the nth term rule will be 7n add 1.